What's up, good people?
What is up, people?
Man.
We've been talking for a while.
What's up, good people? We're gonna make sure that this works this time, and then we'll just go into it because we're just recording and no one's watching anyway.
What's up?
There we go. Cool, perfect. All right, what's up, good people? It is time for the freshwater perspective. I'm Tim,
This is Chuck
and
Norris.
he's Chuck Norris once again. Let's go through the thing. Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. Too bad he's never cried. How was your week, Gary? Let's get right back to it.
We're doing this again.
Yeah, we might as well at this point. So if you're listening to this, we had about 5 minutes where we didn't have our microphone turned on. And so we're just kind of recapping what we've already said.
We were just testing you guys out anyway.
Yeah, we were making sure, we were really hoping someone was watching live so they could tell us
Of people were watching.
that we didn't have sound. They were like, they're talking, but we can't hear it.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen.
No, it was a test.
So basically everyone that was watching live sucks. Yeah. So how was your week, man?
So the week has been good. It's been tiring. Our brokerage we run as a team, so our team is the family,
Yeah.
and one of them has left to go visit her sister, my mom, up in Chicago. So effectively, Jessica and I were basically doing a full additional job ourselves, which, you know, the normal families can handle, 4 kids, full-time
Sure.
jobs, whatever. So, you know, a lot more entertaining kids, a lot more to do, a lot more duties. Been very tiring, but here we are.
Yeah.
We
Your
are.
mom helps out a lot with the Rugrats, huh?
I cannot believe how much she does.
Yeah.
It's
There's 4 of them, so that's, yeah.
Yes.
It's got to be pretty
There's
tough.
4. And so she only raised 2. So I can't believe how well she's doing.
Just you and your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This much further in her life
Yeah.
and
And
handling
she's like keeping up with them and everything.
these savages.
Right? They are. The 2 older boys are savage.
They are savage.
They are savage.
How about you, man? How was your week?
Golly. It was good. Like I said, kind of just regular week, but today was a little bit through a kink in the hose, or what's the phrasing for
Yeah,
that?
kink the hose.
There was a
Kink in the
a
hose.
thing that was not what I wanted to have happen for the day, but it worked out. We had to go in. I had to go into work a little early and knock out a job that I didn't get to finish yesterday. But you know, we got it done, and that's what matters. The customer got the shirts in time, and you know they have a race tomorrow. They do a bunch of races around town. They're called Rotorhead Running Company. Do you know them?
I haven't heard
You're a
of
runner, right?
Jess
By
is
trade,
more
that's what you
avid,
do.
but
Oh, Jess does a lot of runs, doesn't she?
I enjoy running.
Didn't she
She's
she did a marathon recently? Or a
her
half?
last marathon was probably the same one I did.
Yeah,
which
because you guys
was
both did one back in the
last
fall or
year. It was very cold in Fort Walton Beach.
something.
Which race was that? It wasn't St. Patrick's Day.
That was too long ago. Yeah, it would have been over a year ago.
Half marathon goes from the run store over there that's moved.
Yep.
Anyway, it was
Yeah.
I think in March.
Oh, okay. So last year in March.
Yeah.
Not this past March. Not a week ago.
Right. Very cold.
Right.
But she killed me.
Yeah.
I ran my best time. I ran like 7:11 7:11 pace.
You averaged 7-minute miles
for half, and
Oh,
she
okay.
beat me by
for a
like
half. Yeah. Okay.
3 minutes.
Jeez.
And I was booking for myself.
So she was kicking it. Yeah.
Yeah. She likes
But like
to
you
run.
said, you do a lot more like weight training and different things like that versus she does mostly cardio, mostly running, or
Man, I'm so much further in life now. I used to have a lot more focus on specific stuff.
Sure.
Now my grind is just make sure I show up, do the workout.
yeah.
So I have a routine I follow Monday through Friday, and I make sure for me it works differently for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get some form of cardio. Nowadays, let it be a power walk, intervals, walking hills on the treadmill,
Yeah.
spin bike,
Something.
rowing. It doesn't have to be. It used to be I had to do 5 miles, or I got to run 3 miles, or
Sure.
I got to go ride 15 miles. I got to sweat like crazy. Now it's just get the heart rate up a little bit, make sure you're active for 30 minutes.
Transition into something else maybe or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're training for something,
Yeah.
it'd be different. So I've gone back and forth on a lot of those
Yeah.
theologies and
Sure. different methodologies
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
sure.
not a cardio kind of person.
You seem to like and enjoy rowing. I've noticed that.
I did mention to you that I
too.
do like rowing. Yeah, and I've done video of me rowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I do enjoy rowing. And you know why I like rowing a little bit more than like running? It's way less impactful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't like riding the bike. Something about that motion makes, not that I don't like it, but something about the motion makes my knees hurt. I don't have great knees.
Could just be your angle.
It could be. But rowing seems to be the thing that I can do and get a good push with my legs and, get a good row. And I can do that type of cardio more so than running or anything like that. I'm not a big runner. I like to I could just lift weights every day though and be happy.
Yeah.
The last couple times I tried to start lifting again though, I went to the gym and was warming up, doing my squats and stuff. I was just going to do some back squats and nothing heavy or anything. But I just did some air squats, and everything was fine. And I had warmed up first and just kind of stretched a little bit and stuff. Not no crazy stretching, but just a little bit of stretching and
a little active warm up, right?
And just did some air squats to get the muscles moving and the blood flowing and whatnot. And then just did a few 5 to 10 or so squats with the bar on my back and just different stuff like that. And then as soon as I put weight on the bar and went down into a squat, something popped on the backside of my knee right here.
Sounds like your hamstring ran across
right here. And it didn't...
Right back there?
Yeah, right back there. Yeah. If you can't see that on the camera, it's right back there.
It's tucked in there.
It didn't hurt, but I could feel it moving when I would come back up out of the squat. And so I was like, okay, I was like, stop doing that, right? I'm not going to do that anymore. So this was during class, actually, at CrossFit, right? So this was during class. So I stopped and I told the coach, I was like, hey, like, this is what happened. And so we did some stretching and stuff and like got it back to where seemed like it was good again.
Yeah.
And then I went back to try to just do some stuff because I was like, I don't want to just waste my time here. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like fixing something that broke isn't wasting your time, but you know what I mean? Like, so I think I ended up just pretty much rowing the rest of class or something just to stay moving. But I went back and went through the same thing, like tried to go through the motions of like warming up, stretching, all the stuff that you should do before you lift. Mm-hmm. And the same thing, man. As soon as air squats were fine, with the bar, it was okay. As soon as I put weight on the bar, the same thing. It didn't pop this time, but I could feel it move again.
How tight are your hamstrings?
Hamstrings.
How flexible are your hammies?
My hamstrings don't tighten up too bad. My calves tighten up really,
like if you were to stretch
really bad.
Like, are you good at the stand touch?
No.
Okay, so they're tight. They're tight.
Like I can touch my toes probably, but not like comfortably by any stretch of the imagination.
So without delving into it, because I haven't worked under a PT forever, and I don't want to pretend like I'm a pro, and we're not here to talk about...
Well, we might be if that's what we talk about.
I could in that day. It sounds like your hammy. It sounds like your hamstring.
I'll have to check into it.
Is popping across something on the back of your knee, tendon, whatever.
Yeah.
But
definitely made like
I've had it happen.
Yeah. It definitely made a sound the first time it did it. You know what I mean?
As long as it didn't pop and tear.
But it didn't hurt or anything.
Yeah. No, it didn't pop and tear.
My first thought was like meniscus tear a little bit or something, because that can be, but that would be painful at least right away. You can work through it because, I've always heard, and you can correct me, maybe you know more than me, but I've always heard that kind of everyone's meniscus, like your meniscus is almost torn naturally a little bit.
It degrades over time, regardless.
Yeah, and so that kind of thing is just.
Unless
but anyway,
you have the fountain of youth.
Yeah, well, unless you're a fountain of youth. But I mean, if we had one of those,
unless you're Chuck Norris.
Well, yeah, Chuckles Norris.
So
So,
you
yeah,
gotta stretch
anyway.
your hamstrings more. My
Yeah,
immediate
I do need to
advice,
stretch more for sure.
start stretching
I've got a
your
band
hammies.
and stuff at the house and a roller and all that kind of stuff. So, I need to start doing that a little bit more so I can get back into the. I like to swing kettlebells.
It's fun.
I like to swing kettlebells and do a lot of kettlebell workouts too.
And the trick,
I'm doing all this talking about working out and stuff. Like it looks like I work out. Like if you were watching this right now, you'd be like, "What is that guy talking about?" I actually took the or was taking the NASM course to become a trainer.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
actually
that.
was doing that at one time. Yep. And then I wanted to take the CrossFit level 1 coach trainer course or coach course or whatever it's called.
which you can do without the NASM.
You can, yeah. I just wanted to do
Right.
both, just to have both the things,
I've kept up my A certification since, I guess that's like 2006 or 7.
Yeah. There you go.
So I've
It's
kept
almost,
that.
golly, almost 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Golly, you're old, bro. Sheesh.
So
Sheesh.
I'm not training anybody right now. I mean, obviously, I think when I get older and think about retirement, I think I would enjoy it on a fun basis, not charging people just because
Just
I
doing
like
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Man, so what's going on for Easter this weekend? What are you doing this?
So tonight
this
I'm
little
going to
crazy
church.
Easter?
Tonight I'm going to church. We have a Good Friday service at 7. So I'm going to go to that. And I'm helping, I'm volunteering to, as one of the we call it host team. So it's like the people that meet and greet you at the door and help you find seats and, that kind of stuff. Ushers, I guess they call them in some places. So I'm doing that tonight. Tomorrow, I said, we were talking about this before the microphone debacle. Tomorrow I was going to go work on these 2 houses that I'm painting.
Did we even talk about that at all? Like the 1,000 square foot homes?
We talked about it before the microphone debacle. So last Saturday, I went and sprayed primer on these 2 houses. They're both pretty small. Like I said, 1,000, 1,200 square feet. One of them's 1,000, one of them's 1,200. I was telling you, I'm pretty sure the guy that bought them sometime after Hurricane Michael.
Right, okay. Yeah,
Because that's kind of where we left off. Yeah, because they were damaged or something. So I think he got a tree. They're literally next door to each. Like there's 15 feet between them, and they're like they could literally be on the same piece of property. They're not very big lots. If it's actually 2 lots,
okay.
You know what I mean. So I feel like maybe a tree or 2 trees or something actually fell and just hit both of them or something. Maybe and took them both out. Because what he did was he tore the 2 houses down that were there, left the foundations
and rebuilt them,
and just rebuilt back on top of the existing foundations.
All right.
He did add some to one of them, and I don't know if that's because what the heck?
Forgive me.
What the heck is going on, dude? Jeez, turn your phone off in church. Golly. So I don't know if he added some because it messed up the foundation and he rebuilt it, or I don't know that, but anyway. But I called my uncle who's doing all the doors and trim and flooring and all that stuff in the 2 houses to ask him where they were at. And he said that they're not ready for the next stage of paint yet. So
is this here in Freeport?
So I don't have to go back tomorrow. It's in Panama City. It's like in Springfield. Like it's like in Callaway.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
It's like not in Freeport.
Are they?
It's like as
now?
far as you can get from Freeport.
Are they selling?
Yeah, no,
them?
he's building them to sell. Yeah, they're just build to sells. The guy that's building the contractor / developer that's building them just bought like 150 lots out that way.
I need to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, so he's got a bunch of houses that he's going to be building. Yeah,
So I have a new teammate that'll be out closer that way.
Okay.
That I don't know if he's already got somebody to take care of him.
I don't know either. I think that maybe they're like a team of like
be already
builder / realtor,
right,
built into the same family kind of situation or something. I don't know that though. I could find out.
We can talk about that.
We can. We'll talk about that at another time. So yeah, that kind of wraps up how my week was because now tomorrow I don't have to paint which is good. Tomorrow evening, some old friends of mine and I that used to be in a car club together back in the early 2000s.
What car did you have?
Back then I had, so when I joined the car club, I had a 1996, get ready for this beast of a machine, Geo Prism.
Okay.
Which is basically, Geo was basically a company that GM made where they stole other people's cars and badged them Geo.
Was this the 3-cylinder?
No, that was the Geo Metro.
That's right.
The Geo Metro was the 3-cylinder convertible.
Yes.
If you believe it. They weren't all convertible, but you could get them convertible.
Right.
Or cabriolet, or whatever they call it.
Reminds me of the Chrysler LeBaron.
Yeah. So the Prism was, for all intents and purposes, a Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
It was literally a Toyota Corolla.
90s car.
But
Awesome
with
90s car.
With a Geo Prism tag on it.
Yeah.
Mine had the bigger, better motor, the 1.8, liter motor, the big bad boy. 4-cylinder, dual overhead cam.
Oh, yeah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
It was a beast. No, it was not a beast. It had like 93 horsepower,
right.
Something like that. It was not made for going anywhere fast. But I had done some, we lowered it and did some, driveway car stuff to it back then when Fast and the Furious had come out. And so we did,
was that 96?
Had a wing on it.
When was that?
No. I was building the car. The car was in 96.
I was going to say, wow.
No, the car was 96. This was in like 2003, 2004.
Yeah, when I graduated.
2002, 3, 4, that era. I traded that car in, though. This was actually funny. I had ordered wheels and tires for it. And they hadn't come in yet. And in the meantime, I traded it in and got a Mitsubishi Lancer.
A Geo Tracker.
When they first brought the Lancer over.
Man, the Lancer was awesome, too.
From Japan. Because, in the States, we had the Mitsubishi Mirage, which was just not as cool as the Lancer.
It was pretty cool when it came out, but not as cool as the Lancer.
Not as cool as the Lancer. But it was supposed to be like the American version, right?
You could throw the clear Altegra?
Altezza. They called them Altezza taillights.
Yes, the clear and...
Yeah. So when the Lancer came over, I traded my Prism in and got a Lancer. It was an 03 model. So this was like the end of 02, beginning of 03, because it was brand new. It had 6 miles on it when I test drove it.
Pretty new, yeah.
And I was not... I had probably driven a manual transmission car once or twice in my life. And it was the one I bought was a manual transmission. So I went and test drove it, drove it around a little bit. And the guy was like, I was like, I don't really know how to do. Like, I know how to do it, but I haven't. I know how to do
what
it.
I'm doing.
I just haven't done it a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like,
I know what you're supposed to do.
You're nervous.
Right? Yeah. So
especially test driving it with him.
Yeah.
There.
So we did the thing, and and test drove it and all that stuff. Right? Because I'm like, this car's got 6 miles on it, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna blow the clutch up. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like, tear the clutch up in this thing. So. It turns out that I did not do that, and I drove off the lot with it and had to learn how to drive it essentially on the way home.
That makes your driving experience so exciting. It's every single driving experience with a standard vehicle is new and unique.
It is.
And it's sad.
Because they're all different. Like nothing connects at the same time as the previous vehicle that you drove. Like never.
Or shifting is different every time in the same vehicle. And kids,
that's true too,
growing up, next generation after will not witness a 5-speed, a 3-speed, a 6-speed.
No. They'll phase out manual transmissions.
They won't even have driving.
No, they won't even have to drive.
Yeah.
That's true. Your kids might not have to drive.
Brother's house.
Literally.
God, we had to sit in his vehicle.
So I learned to drive on the way home. But anyway,
I'll make sure they do.
The point of all that was that Saturday night, tomorrow night, we're going to have a little reunion kind of over Horsepower Pavilion. So, jump in the Corolla and come out, hang out.
We'll see what's on the docket.
Over there about 5 o'clock.
4 kiddos.
They'll be fine. There's stuff for them to do out there. There's a playground and stuff.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a little playground out there with little houses and stuff for them to play in and all kinds of stuff.
We haven't been there yet.
No, you should go. Does your car's a 6-speed, right?
Yes.
Is your reverse like in the first position, or it's over? It's right and up.
Yep. Right.
Okay, that's good. I bought a BMW one time, and the reverse was left and up. So it's the same position
you're
as
going in first
gear.
Yeah.
Well, when I bought it, I didn't know where reverse was. First of all, I bought it from a guy, so I'm like in his driveway trying to leave. Like I handed him like $4,000 cash or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he goes inside. You know what I mean? Like signs the title, goes inside. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like in this car, and like the people that brought me there, are like pulling out of the driveway, and I'm like, okay. So I look and I'm like, where's reverse? And like I finally realized that it's over left and up, you know, because I'm like used to reverse being right and down, you know. So I'm like, okay, that's not right. So it's left and up, and so, but it's like left and then a little bit more left and up, and it's hard to get there when you don't know how to get there.
Right.
You know?
I haven't.
So I keep
yet.
trying to go backwards to get out of this guy's driveway, but I keep inching closer and closer to his house because I keep going into first gear instead of reverse. But I don't know that I'm in first gear instead of reverse until I try to go. So, you know, you're in first gear, you start to try to go, you creep forward a little bit. Dang it, not in reverse. Yeah, try again.
But you know where
creep forward a little bit.
You at least know where it's at.
Not in reverse. You know what I mean? So like I'm inching closer and closer to the guy's house. Like I finally figured it out though. It was pretty fun. If you were like on the outside looking in of that evening, it would have been very, very funny.
So this is kind of an interesting thought, and everybody's going to have their own story. Everybody's first car.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody will forget their first car.
No.
And I'm kind of interested to hear yours. What did you learn on, and when did you learn stick?
Okay, so my first car that was mine was a 1989 Jeep Cherokee Sport.
4-liter?
4-liter. Straight six.
Everybody
Two-door.
That two-door.
The two-door Cherokee. Can't find those things
Lambo
anymore.
doors?
Lambo doors. No, I would have done Lambo doors on it probably at some point.
It would have been awesome. It's such a popular...
Yeah. So the Cherokee 2-door, 4-liter straight six.
Bulletproof engine.
Yeah, except in Florida, we have this problem with iron in the water.
Okay.
And so if you're not, back in the day, we didn't have city water. City water didn't get into Santa Rosa Beach.
So it was all...
everyone was on a well.
Right.
And the water down there is super irony.
Oh, you see it in a lot of the sprinkler systems.
That's right.
Still.
All the sprinkler systems are orange. Yeah. So what happens is if you fill your coolant up with water from your hose, you end up, your thermostat ends up rusting shut. And then that engine's not bulletproof anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if you know that.
No bueno anymore.
So I went through thermostats on that one.
Okay.
But the thermostat's a weak point in that system anyway on the Jeep 4-liter.
Okay.
It was always a weak point. It's actually the same motor that's in the Dodge Nitro. If you remember those.
Yes, the box, one of the first boxes.
Yep. So it's the same motor that they put in those. And Andrew, we were talking about earlier. Hey, Andrew, his son has a Nitro, and they just had to replace the thermostat in it, I'm pretty sure.
What color was it?
Mine?
Yeah.
It was red.
Cherry red, or are we talking like...
No, it was like the mud red, like the dirt red. That might be because I lived on a dirt road. But it wasn't like bright red. It was like just off of bright red, you know? It wasn't quite like maroon or anything, but it was, you know what I mean?
Now, did you love it?
I did.
So it was your baby. How old were you when you got your first car?
I was 15 when we got the car.
Oh.
So I actually drove it. I think my parents paid like, or my granddad might have bought it. I don't know. I think they paid $1,500 for it or something.
Okay, yeah.
Which was probably too much, to be completely honest. It had a busted up front end. You know, it was, but I had planned to eventually fix that.
Right.
You know?
It's always in the agenda.
Did. Yeah. Yeah, so that was my first car. What was yours?
Man, so it was a 1989 Z24 Cavalier.
Okay. Old square body Cavalier,
Old square body.
Man.
2.4
Yours is
liter.
an 89?
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
And
had
you're
little hood
how old are
scoops.
you again?
I'm
You're 3
38.
years younger than me? Okay, so 3 years younger
I
than
was
me.
born in 85.
Yep, 3 years younger than me. Yeah.
But I remember to this day, I bought it from my coworker at the nursing home.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't worth $1,000, but I ended up spending $1,000, and I think I had out of 3 or 4 paychecks, maybe even 5 paychecks, I had to pay him gradually for it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was this glorious vehicle. You know, the
Yeah.
ceiling, what's the little thing
headliner?
called? The headliner was
Yeah.
coming down.
Yeah. Asbestos in there, probably.
100%
Yeah.
asbestos.
Yeah. You might have a mesothelioma case.
Maybe.
Yeah. I would
Call
check.
Chevy right
I
now.
would check, yeah.
You know, obviously the parents, my dad hated that I bought this car, hated that it was parked in the driveway.
Sure.
Because it was always leaking something. But it was a 5-speed. I put a cherry bomb on it. I put the skull shift knob on there, tinted the windows, bought some
cherry bomb
subwoofers for it.
Yeah.
I think I cherished that car,
Oh yeah.
but I beat the living snot
That's
out of it.
right. That's right.
So I didn't cherish it
Nearly
in
as
the
much
way
you thought
I
you
do
did.
now,
Right.
but I don't think, you know, and it's probably different for everybody in the sense there are, I'm sure, very wealthy individuals out there where their first car is a $100,000 Escalade.
Sure. Yeah. That happens to around here a lot, I'm sure. With all these
Confident
kids.
in
You know what I mean?
So I'm sure
Their
there's
kids are
different.
going to have nice cars for their first car.
It's a crazy thought. It's sad. You don't want to spoil them, but
No.
when you...
My Tundra will probably be for sale when your oldest is ready to get a car.
I'm going to try to keep what we have now.
Yeah.
So between the Nissan and my Corolla,
Yeah.
I hope they're still here so they can...
I think that's likely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Your kids are what, 6? Your oldest?
7.
7. So yeah, 8, 9 years or so he's going to be wanting a car. You also have a payment on that thing almost then.
With the financing nowadays.
Right. They'll finance you a car for 10 years these days. It seems like it's crazy.
You'll be 85 and you'll still be paying your payment.
Yeah. It's wild.
So I think the first car was fun. It started a little bit of an addiction for me.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think that when you get your first car, right? And then like your friends start getting cars and then like, you know, and then the Fast and the
You start
Furious
getting
comes
into
out.
it.
You know?
You buy stuff for them. Fast and the Furious comes out.
I mean, I was 20-ish when the Fast and the Furious came out, I think, right? It came out 2003, 2002, 2003.
Had to
2021, something like that, yeah. So,
Paul Walker, rest in peace.
Paul Walker, yeah.
Rip.
Golly, don't drive Porsches or whatever. So, yeah. So we were like into that scene, right? Like, not to the point of like, we had to go out and buy, like everyone can go out and buy a Mitsubishi Eclipse and try to rebuild the car from the movie.
Oh, they
You
did
know
in
what I
our
mean?
school.
No, we had people that tried to do
Yeah.
that, but not everybody. You know, like we had a very eclectic car club. We were not like some car clubs are themed to like everyone's kind of got the same type of build.
Everybody's
right?
got a Chevy Chevette.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or they're like the Corvette club, or they're like everybody has an old either Nissan hardbody or square body
DeLorean
S10.
Club. Right.
You know what I mean? And they're all lowered.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And they all ride together, right? Our club was like, these two brothers had Chevy Luminas.
Oh, yeah. Very popular. 4-door?
Yeah.
So think the Monte Carlo.
Maybe. Yeah, so we had a kid with a Monte Carlo.
That was 2-door.
Yeah. So the two Luminas, one of the kids had swapped North Star V8 into his. And so, but like, that was the only thing almost that he had done to it. And but like because he had done a motor swap to it, he would win at shows because it was because that was like worth more points than a lot of the other stuff that people did.
Yeah.
Right? We hung out with a guy that had an Impala on 24s
Okay.
with all the interior done in like Burberry and different stuff like that.
The velvet velour going
and
on.
then we had my Lancer, My cousin at the time, well, he's still my cousin, but at the time he had a
He's no longer
Ford Ranger. Actually, your neighbor, not too far from here, down the road, bought a Celine S281. So Mustang, the Ford Mustang Celine makes the, they buy the Ford Mustangs.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Further down on the right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it out there.
It's under cover.
Okay.
It's there. I saw it on my way here.
Okay.
So he was part of our little crew. And he had bought new wheels for his Celine, so we took the Celine wheels off of his car and put them on the Ranger.
It's
not saline, it's Celine. Yeah. It's
I thought it was like the
Celine.
Solution to clean.
That's right, a saline solution. Yeah, it's what you get when you go to the doctor.
All right.
Yeah. When you're dehydrated, they give you a saline solution, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was. So we had a guy with a Ford Focus. We had a guy with a Chevy Cavalier.
I had a Ford Focus.
We had a couple of Chevy Cavaliers in our car club.
2-liter Ford Focus. I had one of those.
We had jacked up Ford Rangers. We had a guy with a jacked up Dodge Ram. It was like an 8-inch lift. So we literally had everything in our car club.
The best kind of car club, really.
Yeah, it was very eclectic. But we would win best club at shows and stuff because we just had so many people. Because we weren't nitpicky about who could join. It was if you wanted to join, you could join. And we had dues every month, but we would give away part of that to somebody that, so you could go and buy a part or whatever. So there, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So some of us are gonna get together tomorrow night.
You should start a new car club.
Well, that's kind of what I was trying to do, actually. Yeah. I don't think there's very many of us that are actually building anything anymore, but I'm building my truck. Our buddy Frank, who was one of the Lumina drivers at the time, he's got I think it's either an ATS or a CTS Cadillac that's really nice. That he's done a lot of stuff to.
The CTS V?
No, it's not a V.
Oh.
I know it's not a V, but I don't know if it's an ATS or a CTS. I would do terrible things for a CTS V, like the original 2-door, the original body style CTS V.
Do you know how rare it is to get the wagon version?
Oh yeah.
They sell for ridiculous amounts of money.
But I don't want the wagon. I want the 2-door coupe. That car that's iconic to me for some reason. That's a great looking car.
Yes.
But yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow, and then Sunday I'm actually going to a car show on Easter in Andalusia, Alabama.
Isn't it weird to bring up Sunday and not have any thought of football?
That is weird. I don't love it.
Not to take away from Easter or the car show in Andalusia, but when you said Sunday, my mind instantly thought...
Yeah, you thought you were going to get to watch the Bills.
Oh, there's no football.
Yeah, rough, huh?
There's other sports.
There's other stuff to do.
I think there's
the Mets
a few other sports, right?
The Mets won today. For sure. What are you guys doing for the weekend? Football tomorrow? Don't you have youth football? Are you guys playing youth baseball?
They do start youth football sometime this month, very early.
Yeah.
The boys are in jiu-jitsu twice a week, and they both tried getting into European football, but schedules aren't coinciding. Anyway,
we call that soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah.
We may or may not have. I did it on purpose.
Proper football.
I thought it had to be. It was proper.
Proper football. That's what our English friend calls it. He calls it proper football.
Football. Anyway, I don't know that we have a game tomorrow. I know that my sister who lives here, they've invited us over for Easter dinner, etc., brunch, whatever it is. So we will do that, and no idea. We'll wing it. That's right. We wing it a lot. Yeah. For most of our stuff when we have free time.
I like wings.
Yeah.
They're good.
I enjoy a wing as well.
I enjoy a good wing, a good buffalo wing.
A good buffalo wing.
Yeah. Guy on a buffalo. Have you seen that commercial? That video? The guy on a buffalo. We'll have to put it into the thing right here. I'll put a link to it in our YouTube channel. Yeah. Yeah. A guy on a buffalo. Super funny.
So Tim, I know we kind of talked a little bit about what we could talk about today, but what would you like to talk about?
I was just kind of wondering what we could actually talk about that's not what we're doing this weekend. or car shows or any of that kind of stuff?
So I'd say monkey on my back, maybe just to bring it up.
Sure.
So the first episode was a little tough for me, and I think a lot of this is due to what I've now learned is anxiety. Oh. And I think growing up and through life, we all have it. We all go through it. We just don't know what it is. We don't know how to put a title to it. But for me, when COVID hit and we had kids, and we had 2 kids on the way, it's the fear-mongering that went on for COVID.
That's true.
And you need to be vaccinated, you need to be vaccinated, you're going to die, stay in your house. I don't know if it all built up, whatever. But at some point during the beginning of COVID, holy cat sauce, I finally learned what anxiety was. You get a little laugh out of this, but really truthfully, the first day was when we went to the doctor for Jess's checkup for the kid. We thought the kid were having our third and final child.
Well, it was. You had the final, but it was the third.
We are sitting in there, and the doctor's like, there's 2 heartbeats. And
you're like, my kid has 2 hearts? That's weird.
You know, Jess's her head is buried in her hands. She's already bawling, and I'm staring at the screen. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So
wait, before we go any farther, let's make sure there's only 2 heartbeats.
Yeah. So she pointed that out, and man, I feel right now just talking about it. We made it through. I didn't even know what to say. I called my mom. She started bawling her eyes out, and that was one of the reasons why she moved down here. Was when she found out we had twins. And no lie, Jess and I, my wife, we stood in the parking lot at the doctor's office for, I'd say, like 30 minutes, and we just stood there and stared at each other.
Yeah.
We didn't break eye contact.
Right, you just stared at each other.
No idea what was going on. So that's officially when it started for me. On the drive home, a rock broke my Ford Raptor's windshield. I'm just like,
whatever.
I really
don't care.
Doesn't even matter. So yeah, kids, finding out about 2 kids that you thought you were only getting 1 more kid.
Yeah.
COVID. Man, I went through a small period where I thought I was having heart issues.
Mm-hmm.
So my anxiety or panic attacks would demonstrate differently to me at different times. And I'd get tight chest. I'd feel like heart palpitations. I couldn't breathe. So, you get to the feeling of, I'm not doing well. Something's wrong with me. So went through that process, had the heart checked out, all that looked at, and they give you, you're fine, you're young, you're fine, you have anxiety, and they try to give you something to. I am not one. I could never. I haven't took anything for anxiety. Just never let myself do it. But anyway, fast forward, go through a lot of that. You learn what it is, so you learn with your own coping mechanisms, what have you.
Sure.
But now certain things, spring it up. You get a little excited, get a little tight. Brain tightens up, mind tightens up. So first live episode we have, naturally makes me a little anxious. So a little anxious today, but not nearly as bad as the first time.
Did you know that? Could you tell that you were at while we were recording?
Oh yeah.
Or was it like an ad, watching after you were like, oh?
No, I could tell.
You could tell when it was happening. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Watching after though, I can just tell by my face and my mannerisms.
So to give you an idea of, for one, I've done something very similar to what we're doing before.
Yeah.
So I was already kind of primed.
Weren't you a stripper before?
Primed for this. That was. We don't talk about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. That was my name. How did you know that? How did you know? That's crazy. But I was also a DJ / karaoke host for a long time, and
it's not the videos. I've done videos. It's
when I was younger, I was very shy, very introverted, and I'm still actually very introverted. People don't realize, because I am so. I'm a very introverted extrovert, right? Like, I'm very outgoing. I don't have any problem walking into a crowd of people and just like
I can see
taking
that.
control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as I'm out of that zone, I have to go back to being.
You go to your cave.
Yes, like I have to be in the by myself stage.
Wait, your birthday comes up.
It does next month.
So what's your horoscope?
I'm a Gemini.
Gemini. Okay.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. If you believe in all of that sort of stuff, we'll have to talk about that sometime.
We will talk about that another time. Continue on, sir.
Yeah, so I had to train myself to be able to converse with people without feeling anxiety, like without being shy. You know, they call it being shy, but really it's anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
You
It
just
really
didn't know
is.
what it
You didn't
was
know what to
then.
call it. You didn't have a title for it.
That's a crazy thought. But yeah.
So, yeah, I really had to train myself to do that, to like talk, because you have to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like you have to, as an adult, like you have to interact with people.
I see kids.
And like
I don't want
every job you have, everything you do, for the most part, you're going to have to interact with people. And like, so I had to teach myself how to do that.
I see kids now, not to go on a tangent, that are allowed, that it's okay not to talk to people. So my big question about that personally is,
Like,
so
say
what
hi
are we
to
going to
people.
do in life? Where do you go?
When do they have to talk to people?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know there's jobs where you don't have to talk to anybody. You can work on Amazon from your computer. But, yeah, I see it now where, fine, you're okay. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You can go in your cave, stay in your cave. There's no overcoming that quote-unquote objection, if you will.
Yeah.
So you had to kind of create your version of
I had
form.
to create an alter ego almost.
Bruno.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So you know how like this is going to be weird because I've never actually talked through this before.
Probably won't be weird.
You know how Eminem, like Marshall Mathers, has like Marshall Mathers, Eminem, Slim
Yes,
Shady,
yes,
and they're all
yes.
kind of different people.
Yes.
Like I had the same thing. Like
Okay.
like there's Tim, right? Like that deals with business and people and all that stuff. And then I literally have like a completely separate person that is like
It's not weird.
that is like the person that does this type of thing, right? The entertainer.
It's
as
different
it were.
jobs.
You know
so
what I mean?
it's different.
Yeah.
You may have a persona but you're going into a different job. You're going to a different
That's true.
workspace.
Yeah.
So I think you are setting your mentality to whichever Tim.
Needs to be there, right? Like which one needs to show up today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And it can turn on and off. I've learned to turn it on and off, like based on who I'm around. Even if I'm in a professional,
It's interesting.
in a professional environment, if there's like I was at the shop today, a buddy of mine comes by who is a rapper, right? And I can switch into that mode,
Right.
right? Like and talk to him in a way like you know what I'm saying?
So
And then like switch back into professional mode when like the door opens and somebody else walks back in.
So I think
You know?
your mind is not far off from the thought process I have behind it. So I think in professions and work, my thought process, the ideology behind it is you almost have to be a chameleon.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that you're looking at it that you are changing your persona or you're changing that job at the time. I look at it like you have to adapt yourself
Yeah.
if you want to do a podcast or adapt yourself if you're going to help an individual that might have different views in yourself. So I guess a similar type.
Sure. Because like
I just looked at it differently.
yeah. Because to be honest, the Slim character, that guy Slim, I don't know if you've known my like that persona or whatever, like where I make music and
I've seen
like,
some
all
of that,
this kind of stuff, right? Like
on your feed.
that character is really more me, right?
Okay.
The character that I have to play in a, and I really want to start bleeding that character more into
Work.
my business.
Yes. That's
because
the whole idea.
Yeah. Because the character that I play on TV, quote unquote, when I'm in the professional mode of business owner is not the same character, right? But the type of business that I'm in and the type of person that I want to be doesn't do that.
Right.
I don't want to be the person that has to wear khakis because I'm a real estate agent. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
you wear flip flops and shorts, right? Because you can do that here as a real estate agent. And like, here's an interesting story. When my buddy Billy first moved down here from Missouri, you might have done the same thing. I don't know how your story goes. We'll find out.
Billy from Missouri.
Yeah, he started a business, screen printing. It's who I worked for and learned how to do this from.
Okay. Shout out to Billy.
Shout out to Billy Riefschneider. Billy Riefenschneider. He moved down here, started this business. His wife is a professional. She's works in real estate, kind of on the like commercial rentals side of things, where she's like a manager for commercial buildings.
All right.
So she's a very professional.
It's like CAM services.
Person. Yeah, right. So she's like a very commercial type or a professional type person.
Okay.
They move here. He starts this business on the side because he didn't want to like get a job. You know what I mean? Which is understandable. He had retired, quote unquote, from the job that he had back in Missouri. Buys some screen print equipment, starts the business. She basically like forces him. They'll tell the story the same way essentially. She basically like forces him to like get dressed up and go out and meet business owners, right?
Okay.
Which if you know anything about where we are, doesn't necessarily work.
No.
Because business owners don't dress up.
Right.
We wear flip-flops and shorts.
Yes.
And flowery button-ups.
This whole
because
area.
we live on the beach.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't think that unless you know it.
Oh man, I've
right?
got a story.
So like
You already have a story
he comes
for me.
back and he's like no one's wearing this kind of like everyone I meet is I'm gonna
Careful
lock
there.
that.
Watch out
Everyone
now.
I meet is wearing freaking khaki cargo shorts and flip flops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's like, oh no, you have to, you know what I mean? Like she was standing by
the rigid business mentality.
And so it took a while for them to adapt to like, you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be I have to pretend to be professional when I'm at my business. I want to be me all the time. You know?
Man, so this brings up a really good story. And I don't think I want to say any names behind it or
You don't
get
have to.
too detailed, but so we started our business. We are thankful for every listing and every opportunity we get to help folks out. And we haven't even talked about the business at all, but one gentleman that I helped long ago in a specific community, we met probably back in 2015, 2016. I had a shaved head back then. For anybody that you know me, I used to shave my head for years. I'd save on the haircuts. And I was in fairly good shape. So I looked more, in some people's eyes, professional. Tucked in my shirt, wore a belt, dress shoes, the whole 9 yards. And we kept in touch. This individual is from the general area where I grew up. And now that I started my new business, we linked back up because they might have needed our help selling their property. Okay? So everything goes well. We're in touch with each other. We're talking about it. We're going over everything that's important to getting this property listed. I make a video. So I make a video, and I don't have any professional videos yet. I'm just starting on my phone. Until
That's
that
the way to do it.
production makes us more money, it'll be from my phone, or it'll be included in our photography that we pay a lot of money for, and our media we pay a lot of money for. But what I create until it starts making us money or selling homes is going to come from the phone. And it may already change now. Anyway, so made it detailed, had it edited by somebody else, went through the townhome itself, displayed a lot of different things, the community, displayed everything that was needed in the home. Sent to this individual. Get a thumbs up back. Great. Thumbs up. Maybe the same day or it was the next day. Hey, I got a call from my friend who saw that video. And we have already had probably 80, 90 views. And we've already had a handful of likes. And they're wondering who this bum is with long hair listing your $1 million property. And this individual said this to me on the phone. Mind you, we're good now. We're good now. Yeah. So immediately I had to bite my tongue.
Yeah.
As best I could. And I said, well, what do you mean? They're wondering how somebody could look that way and list a $1 million home. Yeah.
Like it takes a look to list a $1 million home.
So I know I'm starting to raise my voice now, but I, as best I could, explained in my own way the numerous amount of brokers in our area and sales agents that this individual know have long hair. And I even brought up, how about the owner of Virgin Airlines? Does he have long hair?
Yeah.
And I had to explain, I said, years ago when we met, I had short hair then. I'm actually probably in better shape, more presentable now.
Right.
Same exact person. So I had to have this conversation, and things just kept being deflected. So it keeps upsetting me on the phone. Finally, at one point, I had to get off the phone because it was starting to elevate quite a bit. And I was questioning him. So I had a business decision to make. Was I going to bend? So you talk about, do I really want to wear 2 different outfits for the same thing? Or am I gonna keep this listing and bend?
Right.
Or am I gonna let this go? And
so was he threatening to pull the listing if you didn't cut your hair?
Not at all. But it was heavily implied.
Right.
I can't believe this is going on.
Right.
So I thought about it. I talked it over with the team. I spent good time on it. And it wasn't until the next day at 2 p.m. I was honestly going to cancel the agreement. I came to terms with that. But this individual called, apologized. He said he could not believe that he said what he said. And I think we had a much better relationship and understanding of each other.
Sure.
After that. I did get my hair cut.
Yeah.
Shortly after that conversation, I understood where he was coming from.
Your hair was kind of scraggly when we met a little bit.
Yeah, so I understood what he was saying as well. So I took it with a grain of salt. But
see, that's the thing. Like,
I could have sold his property.
Yeah.
Looking like Sasquatch.
Anybody could, right. It doesn't. You don't have to have a look to sell a property.
As long as right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the
thing I dislike, though, right?
Is that amped me up. Talking about a little bit of
anxiety. It gets me going too. Like, what does your hair have to do with your ability to do a thing? You know what I mean?
I tried politically
zero
having that conversation.
Yeah,
and it was not being heard.
Yeah, it's like, how does that even affect anything? I just don't get it. So I've always been that way. Though. I've always been the person that's like, what does the fact that I'm wearing baggy jeans have to do with my ability to do schoolwork? Right?
Right.
Like, what does that... How do those two things correlate? Explain that to me. Right? Like, you can't, because they don't. So, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
So I've always tried to put myself in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
So whenever I put myself in other people's shoes...
But then your feet get hurt because they're squished and,
size 6.
Yeah, you can't be doing
that. I try to bring up things that might be relatable to them. So that's why I tried bringing up other brokers and other owners of very successful businesses that had very long hair.
Like you mentioned Richard Branson. Like, Richard Branson does not cut his hair because someone asks him to cut his hair. Like, we're not going to use your airline if you don't cut your hair. Okay.
So I tried making it relatable. Everybody's not me. Everybody's not buying my product. I get that. So I try to get on everybody's level in a sense that I understand that Tim is different. So if I'm explaining something he might not get or agree with, let me try to get myself
as close to him
relate
as possible,
to him and make it relatable as close as possible. I tried that. And it must have worked somewhat because the call the next day, but on the phone conversation, it certainly did not feel that way. It did not feel that way.
There's something to be said for like in the heat of the moment when you're on the phone and you're having the conversation, you're in defense mode, right?
Yes.
And then
trying not to be, but you
are.
You are.
And then when you hang up and you start going through the conversation back again and playing it back in your head, you're like, oh, okay. So here's a scenario that I could bring up, or here's a thing I could talk about that would, you know what I mean?
Or
and
I could have done differently too.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you start like figuring out what you could have said or should have said, but those things weren't going to come to you in the moment because that's not where your head was.
Right.
And there's, so sometimes, like you said, you have to kind of just drop back and punt and be like, oh,
punt is a great term.
Okay, like, I'll call you tomorrow, right? Like, we'll have to figure this out. You know what I mean?
But that was, for me, was a great story of a line. So there's a line for, I think, any of us as business owners, entrepreneurs, or even working for somebody. We have a line that we create, and we don't know about, of what will I do, how will I act, how far will I go. And again, it was just a haircut. It was just a haircut.
Yeah.
I got my haircut. It's done and over with now. I'm fine. Yeah. But that brings up that great point.
Yeah.
Of when do you close that threshold for your business?
Right.
And keep yourself.
And everything is everyone has their own version of where that line is.
And it changes.
Right? Like, and it can move, right? It's very fluid. Like when I went to work in the corporate world when I was younger, one of the things that they had a rule about was no beards at this particular business, which I think I might have talked about it last week on the show.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Sure won't.
Yeah. So that's right. Sure will. So
is that the intro?
So they have. So here was the thing that bothered me the most about this scenario. Sherwin-Williams as a company doesn't have a no beards policy. Sherwin-Williams as a company has a neatly trimmed facial hair policy.
Which just turns into
which ends up turning into, for most of the like district managers or whatever, like no beards. Because here's the thing. Most men aren't going to keep their beard neatly trimmed every single day.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
Right? So they're just like, no beards. Right?
Yeah.
At the time of my life when I went to work for them, I wasn't necessarily okay with that, but I was willing to bend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, what most of us would do was just, you could grow some facial hair or whatever, and then if you knew district manager was coming to town, like, there would be like a chain of calls that went on, right? It was like, hey, Barrett was just here and he's headed your way, and I lived close to the store. So like, they'd be like, go home and shave, come back. You know what I mean? And so
it was that important.
Yeah. It was a big deal. Yeah. There was supposed to be a no visible tattoos policy.
That's a big one.
So I was supposed to wear long sleeves all the time. I didn't, because this is Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if somebody like big was coming to town, like I kept a long sleeve shirt at the shop, at the store, in case I needed to change, because you know what I mean. So like but you can't. I'm not going to wear long sleeves every day in the middle of the summer in Florida,
and I think,
just to cover up my tattoos because you think that that's unprofessional. Like, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean?
I think what we all do, and it sounds like what was easiest for you then, is sometimes it's just not worth the battle to just not put the shirt on or get the haircut. It wasn't worth the battle.
Right.
So,
because overall, the job itself was a good job. Wasn't difficult or anything by any means. To be transparent, I was transitioning from a life of crime, essentially, into a life of not crime. And so that was like, I can either keep doing what I'm doing or I can shave my beard. You know what I mean? And get out of this life that I'm in. Right. So like, that was kind of, So it was like, okay, I'll shave at least for now so I can get out of this situation. And then if something comes along the way or whatever, and I want to change jobs or whatever, So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was, I think there's always that, like, what am I willing to do or not do in everything? It's not just jobs. It's not just professional. It's not just everything. It applies to all sorts of things,
Just about everything does. Everything is connected in one way or another on our daily lives. Like some people say sales or management is just related to your job.
No,
absolutely
it's
not.
No. No. The things that I learned, I have a background in network marketing a little bit, right? I was in a few network marketing companies, MLMs, if you want to call them that, multi-level pyramid schemes. I hate that terminology, but
I knew of a few, and
some of them are actually pyramid schemes.
Yeah,
I
they tell you they are.
Some of them actually literally are that pyramid scheme, right? But there are some
Horizons was one.
There are some legitimately run businesses that use the network marketing model.
What's the real estate brokerage?
EXP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think there's another one too, but EXP is the really big one.
I think Real is one too.
But anyway, people made fun and all of that sort of stuff when you start getting involved with that world. But man, the stuff that I learned there applies forever. Like if nothing else, I got a great education from some really awesome people. You know what I mean? Like, and I apply that in my business every day.
One of the worst things. What was it called? Help me out here. You go to...
I'll do my best, buddy.
Blue Rock had it. You would go and they'd give you a presentation. Oh, we'll give you this free...
Oh, like timeshare?
Okay. So timeshare, for most folks' opinion, is the devil.
Yeah.
And nobody ever really wanted to listen to the presentation or the pitch.
No, they just want the Disney tickets, bro.
But if you worked for timeshare, and I met a lot of sales agents that came from timeshare, you learn a lot of crucial techniques and ways to work with folks that you wouldn't learn from anywhere else.
No.
And it's like a pressurized environment. Again, not that it's good, not that it's good for the consumer.
Is it good or bad? I don't know.
Some people have timeshare, they love it. I actually know somebody who has timeshare, and they go to a lot of different areas when they want and pay an X amount of dollars. But you get that stuff, it sticks with you on virtually anywhere you go after.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The stuff you learn in those environments is huge. I went to a lot of big conventions and stuff when I was in network marketing, like not just inter-business or inter-company conventions, but like conventions with business people from all over the world that came to, that came together.
Yeah.
And dude, the stuff you learn and the notes you can take, and I'm not a good note taker, but you know what I mean? Like the stuff you learn in those environments is huge, and it applies everywhere. It applies to traditional business, and it applies to life essentially, right? Like, in general.
The only stuff that it doesn't apply to nowadays is where a lot of modernization has went.
Sure.
And it is a lot of this capital that you can make from Amazon.
Sure.
Book
from
reading.
Doing things. Yeah.
It's kind of weird, and I'm not even knowledgeable enough about all the categories, but there are things that you don't need to be good at anything.
You have to be good at the thing that you're doing.
Right. I mean, yes. You have to be able to read instructions. You have to be able to follow instructions.
So with the internet, man, like,
there's something for everybody.
Everyone can make money now with the internet. Like,
still got to work hard.
You got to do it. Like I said, like I was telling you about my cousin who has the Braves baseball podcast, right? Like, and now he gets to write articles for different publications,
which is
and
awesome.
Different stuff like that, right? And it all started with him just like talking about the Braves.
Hey, before I forget, do you remember who left us a comment? We have to give a shout out for.
I don't remember their name, but that guy left us an awesome comment. We had a comment on YouTube as well. We had a comment,
really,
on the clip about the secondhand smoke in the casinos.
Do you pay for the secondhand smoke?
Someone commented "wuss."
Wow.
Yeah. So I replied, hot take.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody spent some time to write that. That's
right.
okay. We appreciate you taking the time to write wuss.
Yeah, and then the other one was the other comment was on the clip about how everyone around here is a realtor, and he said everyone's an entrepreneur too.
Yeah.
Which was a direct dig because at the bottom of the screen it says entrepreneur under my name, and so I was like, yeah, I mean you're right. That's true.
I hope we get the most entertaining.
And then I thanked him for the comment.
Entertaining post comments.
I think that's right.
Digging into us the entire time.
I want to ask you about your experience with Chat GPT so far.
Holy cow!
Because I know you've been playing around with it a little bit.
Yes, I love it,
and it seems like you like it.
Yes.
I want to know, like, so have you just tried to like write a novel? Have you told it to write a novel yet?
It's very diverse, and it's hard for me to ask me some specific.
That's
questions.
my fear. That? My fear of it. I'll give you my not fear of like it taking over the world. You know, I'm not scared that AI is going to take over the world, because I think I understand a little bit about how it works, right? But I think I understand. Okay. I could be wrong.
I'm going to follow along. Go ahead.
But not my fear, but like my anxiety about it is that I don't know what to ask it to get the response that I want,
and it takes some time.
That's the thing and I know that like doing it gives you information so that you can then adjust your questions and adjust the way you do things and give it more or less information to get what you want.
Yes.
Right? So I get that. I just haven't sat around and done it too much yet. So I was kind of curious about what you had, if you're willing to divulge, what you had used it to try to get done and how it responded with what you gave, with the information you gave it.
So I'm going to go over a couple scenarios. I'm going to actually use the most recent one. So I have a couple new individuals coming on board with a brokerage this month.
Congratulations to you and them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have very good, strong experience. I have great experience training folks in real estate, and I've helped train some individuals be incredibly successful. So I've done it. I know how to do it. I know how to go through the entire process. But with the business, I haven't created guidelines or something that I could print out or something that's timed or scheduled. I haven't created the structure for it for two brand new agents.
Right.
And I told them this, and they know it. So I know my general shtick, but now I have to create structure. I go on Chat GPT, right? And I basically just typed in guidelines for training structure for new real estate agent.
Okay.
I typed that in, and it gave me bullets, which were phenomenal. And then I typed in, give me important processes or information to teach in sales. And it gave me that. And something that was a little sobering to me, because I always thought I thought it was a me thing. I thought it was Gary's thought. Obviously it's not. It didn't come from
Clearly not.
That sales is primarily a transfer of emotion. And I don't want to get into it now. There's a whole emotion behind describing it and going into it. So I typed, describe transfer of emotion to me. And it typed out 2 paragraphs. And it correlated to sales. And it blew my mind. I thought I couldn't have typed this myself.
Right.
This well at all.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's crazy.
So I was able to extrapolate probably 3 or 4 different guidelines that I needed. And I saved them all, and now I'm going into the bullet points. That's one thing. Don't use it to take your job away. Because we're all, still...
You want to use it and edit what you get. Right.
So I started putting in what I needed to do with each bullet point with the new agents, typed out what it was relevant to. I'm working on that currently now, on every single one of them, and it has been a huge tool.
But it definitely gave you a starting point.
Oh yeah,
and gave you like more than a starting point.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. You just had to like fine tune the. it did all the work. Now you're just like adjusting the cams, like at the very end of the motor swap. Like you're building it built the whole engine for you. Like you're just putting oil in it.
I'm putting the business brand into it because it's not giving you branded information. It's giving you general.
Right, it's general for sure.
I think it's from 2017 or 18. It's just Googling information from the web.
That's exactly why I'm not scared. Like people are all like, "Oh, AI is going to take over the world." But what ChatGPT does is when you tell it something, it essentially instantly Google searches for all of that stuff and finds all the information that it can, and then it paraphrases other people's existing content back to you. Yes. It's basically regurgitating a non-plagiarized version of something that's already out there, and it might even be plagiarized.
And it's not. I don't know. And so we've used it for quite a bit of stuff recently. It's not all correct.
Sure,
you do have to take your time.
It did that to me actually. I asked it to write a blog post about the difference between screen printing and direct-to-film printing.
What did you come up with? What is?
And it gave me a bunch of stuff. And all the screen printing stuff was correct. But there's not enough information out there yet about direct-to-film printing. So
it couldn't pull anything.
So it did direct-to-garment printing instead because it didn't know that they're not the same thing, right? But all the information that it gave me about direct-to-garment printing doesn't correlate to direct-to-film.
Right.
So it didn't work, right? So there has to be more information out there before I can utilize... Like I have to write the information before other people could find it. When somebody else will write it, but you know what I mean. It couldn't find what I needed, so it did the next best thing, and it was wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant tool to use, and you have to segment it in your business in your mind that it's just a tool. So I would say the biggest thing it does for you is saves an incredible amount of time. We've used it for. So we've spent time for a listing description, typed up a listing description of as well as it could be, and you put it into GPT. You tell it 800 characters because that's our MLS characters limit. And
you can tell it how long to make it.
You can tell it to make it more professional.
Interesting.
You can tell it to make it more fun. You can tell it to put jokes in there. You can virtually, after it spits out what it thinks you are asking for, the very next line, you can change it.
Gotcha.
Shorten it. Make this 3 sentences. Make it more professional.
Interesting.
So
you're not just typing something in, it's giving you stuff and copy paste and you're done. There's not going to be that for the most part for most people, right? You don't think?
No. Yeah. If you double check it and it's exactly what you want and it really is just factual information.
Well, sure.
We pulled a few of our Q&As and it was exactly what we wanted.
Oh, wow.
But for the most part, you put your information that you want to give it, what you've already typed.
Yeah.
But kids at school, I wouldn't use that to write your...
Don't write a paper with it.
Don't write your paper with it.
ChatGPT. Write book report on, West Side Story.
I'm sure it will.
Oh, it will. It definitely will. Yeah.
Just use it as a tool.
On Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, 100% use it, because if you're not, you are wasting time. All the other brokerages, all the other businesses that are utilizing things for websites, blogs, posts, if you're stuck in anything, podcast ideas.
Yeah.
What did we use it for? We used it for ideas for something. And it gave me enough ideas that I extrapolated what I wanted from it. Just use it. Find a way.
We used it to come up with the name for the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Find a way to use it in your business. I promise it's not going to take over the world. But
dang old conservative Republicans.
Don't keep yourself behind because you don't want to get on that technology and type it in. And you're too old for technology. You're not too old.
Dude, that's a weird thing for people to say.
Ever.
Yeah. It's so weird to me. The guy that started Grey Goose Vodka was like 75. Yeah, look it up. I don't know if he was 75, but he was old. Colonel Sanders was already old when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what I mean? Like,
I missed a lot, apparently.
Like old doesn't mean anything, man. Like I'm 40. You're 37.
38.
38. I'll be 41 next month. Like, if you really think about it, like, in a bad scenario, I die early. Like, I die of
77.
77, yeah. So, like, let's say I just, like in a decent amount of living, right? I've only lived half my life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that's a long way to go.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a long way to go. If you think about all the stuff I've done in 41 years, and to think, like, you got another 41 to go.
Hopefully.
Like, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, assuming, not assuming the worst, right? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, possibly another 60 to go, right? You know what I mean? Like, especially if I, like, get my shit together and, like, get healthy, right? Like, with modern technology and modern medicine and, you know what I mean? Like,
we have the technology.
We could easily live to be 100 or better.
400.
Maybe even 400.
It is crazy.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because, like, people think that they're done, man. And it's like, I'm pretty sure we're just getting started, bro.
Some people don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm
you
okay
got
with
20 years of raising kids to go.
I have to be involved.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, your life's not even close to done. Like, you might not even come up with the thing that you're going to, like, the legacy you're going to leave.
Might not even be here
because you're too busy raising kids for the next 15, 16, 17 years.
How
old are the little ones?
They're going to raise themselves. They turn 3 in July.
They'll be 3 this year already?
Yeah.
Good grief. I'm getting old.
But for all those out there, especially that are in the industry or any industry, that keep hearing about it, it is no more difficult than signing on AOL.com.
Yeah, no, it's not difficult to get to. You just Google ChatGPT and click the link at the top. Yeah, it's the first thing that comes up. Google's pretty good about showing you what you want to find.
It's the new crossword puzzle. You will love it.
You'll love it. I bet you could ask ChatGPT crossword puzzle clues, and it would tell you the answers.
I asked for lottery numbers. It didn't work.
Didn't give you lottery numbers.
But I asked for the best odds of the next lottery numbers.
With crossword puzzles, they reuse clues a lot in crossword puzzles, right? So, like, if you wrote a clue in and was like, "What's the answer to crossword clue?" Blah 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 blah. Like, it might give you an answer.
So I wonder if kids are using it now. I wonder if it's a middle generation thing that are rocking and rolling on ChatGPT.
I can't imagine that kids aren't taking advantage of this.
If anybody's
technology.
watching,
I can't imagine they're not.
Age 10, they're definitely not watching.
10 up. Watching.
Anybody in school, do you know what this software is? Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Do you care?
Interesting question. Do you know
the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man? I was actually going to say that. It's funny.
There's a lot of memes.
The Muffin Man!
There's a lot of funny memes.
He lives on the tree line.
Hey, I had a Pontiac Sunfire, red Pontiac Sunfire, and I put a system in it. And
so you went from the Cavalier to the Cavalier, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It was fun. No difference than a Cavalier. But we were driving in a particularly bad portion of Buffalo.
Yeah.
And we would stop at the red lights, and I would blast, Tom, this is for you, Baby Beluga, and Do You Know the Muffin Man at virtually every red light. And let me tell you, some unsavory, no assumptions, folks found it the most entertaining thing they've ever heard.
That is awesome.
I think we were called wild several times.
So, a buddy of mine used to, he actually held the Florida state record for DB drag. Back in the day, they had a thing
Dragon
called
Ball drag?
DB drag, which was decibel. It was how loud you could make your bass go, right?
Not Dragon Ball.
Not Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball Z.
Oh.
No. So anyway, he held the Florida State record for like, I think it was like 24 inches or under in speaker size, something to that effect.
Okay.
And he used to blast Britney Spears in his system.
I did it.
But dude, some of those songs would bang.
Well, they used a lot of that 808.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you think about it, when they use the same tools to make the music as they use to make hip hop or whatever,
right.
like it's, you're going to get that, you can get that bass.
What do you think of house music?
How low can you go? Like listening to music in your house?
No.
Or like electronic house music?
Brand house music.
I think it's a weird term for a type of music.
It is.
I don't dislike the music itself. Like I like a lot of different electronic EDM styles of music, drum and bass and house and different stuff like that. But I don't get into it and listen to it all the time.
Right.
But a little dubstep action from time to time.
Minimal house, trance house.
But I don't know. I don't get that deep for sure.
Progressive house.
Deep house.
Deep house.
Yeah, I don't get that deep. I always thought house was just a weird name for a genre of music.
It was just EDM for a while, techno. And then
techno. Back in the 90s, everyone just called it techno.
Darude, Castles in the Sky.
Yeah.
Wonder when it all just branched off.
But actually there were those things, like drum and bass was a thing.
Original house.
There were separations, but to the layman it was all just techno.
EDM techno.
Yeah. It was it works that way with a lot of things, I think, right? Like, I think that Sandstorm.
Benny Benassi.
You listen to some Sandstorm?
Yeah.
I think that it works that way with a lot of things, right? Like,
what's the rule? Can we play music on our podcast?
No.
Oh.
You can play only play stuff that's DMCA or whatever. Like, basically doesn't have copyright.
Got it.
You can do non-copyright music. Well, technically, just to be transparent with you on how this works, technically you can play anything that you want. Facebook will mute it, but they'll only mute that section of the thing. YouTube will play it, but you can't monetize the video if it has something in it that's DMCA, against DMCA rules. So you can put a video up on YouTube that has music in it. That's because people do it all the time, right? You just can't monetize that video.
Makes sense.
TikTok will demonetize. You can only use TikTok approved stuff or whatever, like DMCA approved stuff for TikTok, I'm pretty sure.
And there's really not a song. So with our media and videos and whatnot made for our YouTube channel, for our business.
Yeah.
It still doesn't allow for monetization, no matter what generic song is put.
How do you mean? We don't make any money right now, you're saying?
Oh, and I'm not trying to make money off our business YouTube.
Right.
But...
You're talking about your business?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's a video of...
Well, you have to have a lot of subscribers. You have to have, I think, 1,000 subscribers.
What I'm trying to say, which isn't coming out fluidly, it sounds like it's almost near impossible, a particular song that you'd want to use that wouldn't impede monetization.
Yeah, if it's a song that you know, you can't use it.
Right. Even just a melody from the internet? That's what I thought.
They'll get you.
So you got to make your own.
Yeah. Well, people make music specifically for, right?
And that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, so there are people out there that are making music specifically for people to use in those types of scenarios.
So you could buy it, theoretically.
Most of it's free.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can actually go on Spotify. Shout out Spotify. No, you can go on Spotify and type
Palace Buffet, where's our free buffet?
Help us out, bro. Yeah, Palace Buffet. What
are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we even doing?
Type in DMCA approved or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a playlist. There's a playlist, multiple playlists on Spotify. So that like if you're gaming and streaming, right, you can put that playlist on so that you don't get.
I've got Twitch doing Madden for so many times.
Because Twitch will, if you're streaming on Twitch, they'll shut your channel down.
They won't let you save your videos either.
No, they'll shut you down.
Every time I do a Madden.
Yeah.
Just because it's playing the songs in the background.
Right. Yeah. Even if it's in the game. That's right. You know what's actually messed up? This is crazy. If I made a reel on Facebook and put my song in it, I can't get monetized for it. Even though it's my song, like my track, because Facebook doesn't know it's my track, first of all. They just know that you're not supposed to use it.
It's just a generic.
Right. So it's really crazy. Like you can't even play your own music if you're an artist and like make a video with it because it'll get turned off or muted or whatever. Or you can't monetize it, whatever.
So I thought that was just interesting. I've noticed it a few times when we're loading our videos on and I pay attention to the views and whatnot. I thought that was interesting with the music and wondered about it, but didn't find it.
Because YouTube will tell you, right? Like,
you
can't monetize this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you're like, I'm really far away from getting monetized or anything anyway.
Millionaire off this.
I think I have 3 subscribers on my personal YouTube. Maybe 3. Maybe
I think
4.
our business has 23.
Oh, killing it.
We started. So we are going to again at some point, but we started doing neat little videos and discussions. We started indirect podcasts or...
To be fair, neat is, like... It's like subjective. You know?
Clean.
It might not be neat to us.
Right.
To other people. It might only be neat to you.
True.
Yeah. No one else might think it's neat. It's very subjective.
If you despise my business YouTube page, let me know.
You can also subscribe to the ones you don't like. Yeah,
subscribe
that's right.
it and tell me how much.
It doesn't really do anything to you if you subscribe to the channels you dislike as well. So, is there anything else pressing that you want to talk about? Because it's getting pretty close to time for me to have to go.
Well, how much time we got left?
Not long. I have to be in Destin in an hour.
All right, I want to save something for next time. I think it'll be fun. I want to try to do, so if you've got something Dolphins related, let's do a little snippet of something. You remember how I kind of told you about that? I don't know if it works with the podcast.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Like a little review. A little discussion about certain things that these NFL teams make and produce that people get, like a key or...
What? What are you talking about? I feel like that's a good clip. That's getting clip of that.
Take a clip of that.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
No.
I have no
so, for
idea
example,
what
the
you're
Buffalo
talking about.
Bills, they make tons of stuff now that they sell.
Yes, that's a good idea. They should do that.
Buffalo Bills troll. You can buy a Buffalo Bills bobbleheads.
That's right.
SpongeBob bobblehead.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills.
But
key.
why would you? Is the question.
So anyway, we could talk about it more, but I thought it neat. Let's talk about this. Is this worth it? This key, this Buffalo Bills key. Would you buy this Buffalo Bills key?
A key?
Or is Miami Dolphins key?
Like a key to like your house?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
Not just that. Anyway,
I feel completely... just general stuff. I gotcha. I think that actually is a good conversation to have at some point. Yeah. I'll give you the short and sweet of it for me, and then we can talk more in depth about it later. I would not.
Even if it was Miami Dolphins?
I'm a fan of the teams. I'm not a fan of the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I like that. I like that.
I just don't collect the stuff like that. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We should just change the name of the show to Does That Make Sense?
I know a lot of fans that don't want to overly display.
It's not that I care if people know I'm a fan or anything like that.
I mean,
I just
being a Dolphins fan, you should.
Yeah, that's true. You should definitely care about that. Yeah. You should
just
not
kidding. They're a lot better.
You should not want people to know.
Now.
You should not want people to know.
Much better now.
I just don't like. I don't even own like a. So when we'll actually have to talk about this on their show. Mark this down. Write a note down that we need to talk about our fandoms next episode.
Okay.
And and how we do or don't dress accordingly on game day and stuff like that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
or what we do or don't wear almost on a weekly basis.
Right. Or what if we have a flag for our team in our yard to mark our driveway? Or like
I don't know
things like that. Or stuff like that.
That's not me.
It's not him.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that's true. He would never do that random stuff.
Never.
Never do that. Cool. So, yeah, I think good show, good chat, good talk. We didn't really get into the anxiety stuff quite like we wanted to, I don't think.
No.
We talked about it, we brushed it over. We got anxious and we just skipped over it and moved on. But
I shared a lot about mine.
you
but
did.
You didn't share any of yours.
Yeah,
Or
that's true.
delving into it, but
Not a big sharer. Just kidding. We can talk more about my experiences with things like that next time for sure. So what else? Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts? Go Bills, go Dolphins.
it's unfortunate you guys missed the very first part of our show.
Yeah.
I know that would be instantly.
You won't ever
millionaires.
know that again.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was gold. We
definitely would have had all the YouTube subscribers and Facebook followers
Platinum.
and stuff.
We would have
Triple,
had
3 times platinum.
the platinum YouTube medal would have dropped.
We're gonna get a plaque for right here.
Would have came right.
Yeah.
But
They actually would have flown it to us while we were recording this episode.
yeah,
They would have been like, "You guys are amazing. Here's your YouTube channel plaque award thing." Yeah.
so we're sorry. We're sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll do another one. We'll have a moment like that again.
Yeah.
With the microphone on.
It was actually a good moment.
It was. We'll do it again. All right. So anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got for the day.
Yeah.
We really do need to come up with a way to close out the show. Because this is kind of weird.
We can always make it this way.
This
We can
weird?
make it
We could
weird.
just make it this. This is how we close out
And
the
this
show.
is how we're gone.
This has been the freshwater perspective. Whether it was fresh, we don't know, but it was our perspective.